T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lux.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
Yes, a day without sports is a day without sports. Here's what we have this week. Indiana gets the shaft. Lovie and Malzahn get the axe. NFL Week 14. Have the Steelers peaked? Packers are the 1 seed in the NFC. And that Browns-Ravens instant classic, well, there's a whole bunch more, too. And here's the other one. It was the right move to pick Trubisky over Watson in the draft. Just kidding. All right, first topic. While only playing and winning 5 games, the Big Ten bigwigs give Ohio State the nod to play in the conference championship game. Before, these same bigwigs said a team needed to play 6 games minimum. Gentlemen, politics are alive and well, and Indiana gets shafted because they're not a household draw, right?
True. I mean, but you got to look at these guys. There are 4 teams that are always going to be at the top of the pile. That's Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and another SEC team to be named later.
And aren't we tired of that? We're tired of that.
Yeah, but let's say, okay, in the pros, you finish last in your division, you get to pick first from the draft. In college, you get to pick first because you're always on TV. It's never going to change. It's never going to change.
Okay.
Obviously, politics had got involved, but obviously more than politics, and maybe obviously this goes hand in hand with each other. It came down to money, and I understand. I mean, They have the best chance of making the playoffs, and if a team from the Big Ten makes the playoffs, everyone gets a cut of a check. So I understand it. And again, I don't even have a problem with it because you would have gotten in a technicality. Obviously, Ohio State did win the head-to-head, so I'm not chewed up about that. That being said, if they do get in, I hope they get throttled because for them to only play 5 games and then beat Northwestern, who got beat by Michigan State, who's not that good this year. I hope they get throttled by, be it Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Texas A&M, whoever. I hope they just get throttled, and we don't have to hear about how great this team was that really only played possibly 2 ranked opponents.
The only game that really mattered was the Indiana game, and the Indiana gave them all they wanted and made Fields basically, to my way of looking at it, took Fields out of the running for the Heisman Trophy. I'm going for Mac Jones at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let J-Boy answer. Who do you feel should win the Heisman right now?
Oh, Fields.
You think it's Fields?
Yeah, he's got it.
Well,
it's not about the best player.
Maybe Fields ends up winning it, Lugs, just because I would vote for Devontae Smith on Alabama, the wide receiver. So I think we kind of cancel each other out with just them having 2 Heisman hopefuls.
Well, when you have SEC teams and ACC teams playing double the amount of games that the Big Ten played, I think you have to look at the overall body of work. And that's why Ohio State, I get that they have a nationwide following and the money's there and all that.
Alumni, baby.
Yeah.
Scratch.
But it's still, stop that talking to me about this is a game where the little guy can come in and really do something, show their way. No, it's not. Coastal Carolina's never, ever going to play in a playoff game. Just not going to happen.
Which honestly is unfortunate when you think, and I know the chances of ever winning the championship are slim, but to say that though, who can forget still probably one of the most enjoyable games probably the last 20 years is Boise State beating Oklahoma.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
With the hook and ladder and
hook
the
and
statue.
ladder.
Yes. And
yes.
I'm blanking on who Central Florida beat. They beat someone in a New Year's Day Bowl Was it?
Well, Central Florida beat Auburn, and then Auburn went on and win the championship.
Yeah, the next year.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying is like I think they can. Can they maybe win 2 games? I don't know. They can upset somebody. I mean, you look at how Coastal Carolina to say that because of how they play so unique to say they can't upset somebody. I don't believe that. Now to say they can maybe beat Alabama, that's probably stretching it.
But they won't get a good bowl game even.
Yeah, no, probably not. Of course, there's not that many bowls, so whatever the Tostitos Bowl is still around, I think. So
yeah. Well, even like they showed
Astro Blue Bonnet Bowl. I think that's still available too.
my favorite
Astrodome.
My favorite was the homefurniture.com bowl. Just because, man, that rolls off
Tax Slayer.
Yeah, Tax Slayer. But I don't know. I find it just unfortunate. Like you look at Cincinnati and like you have Iowa State, who has 2 losses above them, and it's just like, well, there's nothing you can do. I mean, and even the funniest thing is one of the losses that Iowa State has is to a team Coastal Carolina beat, Louisiana, and will probably beat this weekend twice, but they're still below. But anyway.
Well, see, I think you need to go with 8 teams in the playoffs. The first 5 are the 5 power conferences. You know they're going to plug them in. And then the 3 can be the Cinderellas.
At large.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that way you got some interest.
It'd be fun.
It's like, how many more times do we want to watch Alabama Notre Dame or Alabama Ohio State or Alabama Clemson?
Don't care. Yeah. I'm with you.
And also, this is the last thing I'll say just in terms of playoffs that I find funny. As much as people killed the computer system where like they had all these different variables and stuff, at least there was to some degree justification for everything. Like it lives purely in analytical facts where this committee, like we're kind of getting at, is like, who's going to draw the most eyeballs? They get in.
Right.
So
you mentioned Michigan State. Lugs, you know who one of the most famous now playing in the NFL players from Michigan State is, don't you?
Not right off the top of my head. Who?
That'd be Kirk Cousins. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this. Lovie Smith goes 17-39 at Illinois in 5 years. He won't see year 6. And Gus Malzahn gets a $21 million buyout. $21 million at Auburn. How is this right? Either of those things.
Well, good agent. I mean, a good agent, Jack. Whoever set that deal up was like suckers.
Man wins a national championship, 5 years ago, and sorry for your luck now?
Right. Well, you can't. If you let Alabama trounce you 2 or 3 times in a row, you're done. You're just done. So, but hey, let's get into that NFL. Trubisky, what are we playing here? You know, can we get a consensus on this? Is he or isn't he? You know,
that game was called the Ryan Pace Bowl. It was to save Ryan Pace's, the general manager's job, and I think he kept it.
God, I hope not.
That's my theory.
God, I hope not.
Mrs. McCaskey was going, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules.
You all have seen the movie The Producers, right?
Yeah.
I feel Pace's relationship with Virginia McCaskey is like that early scene with Zero Bostel with the older ladies.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he just is super really affectionate to Virginia McCaskey, and she just like looks at him as like this young boy who's hot for her. It's just like, oh my God, this is so. But anyway, I'm glad that Trubisky looked good because again, I stayed consistent on this. Obviously he's done in Chicago, and he's probably never going to be a great starter. But I think he should have a chance at a good career, and maybe a good coach can rehabilitate him. Nagy is not that. Luckily, they've fallen into some bad defenses recently, and like he's looked good, which I'm happy for because he sounds, in general, like an actual genuinely good guy who works hard, and the team does love him. So I don't want him to be embarrassed. So
yeah, well, I think I would say Washington could use him because they have the players. Chase Young, by the way, in Washington, I'm thinking is the best football player in the league at this point, man. I mean, he just destroyed people, just destroyed them. So
there's some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
All the rookie quarterbacks or short-time quarterbacks, and especially in the AFC, are going to go at each other,
Herbert and Burrow and Tua. Yeah.
And even Josh Allen, I guess it's his third year.
Yeah, it's his third year. Yeah.
But still, he's a young quarterback. So that's cool. Yeah.
If we're adding in those guys, I mean, we could start spotlighting those games. But if we're talking those guys the same year, obviously Lamar played well in Baker. But
that was the Superman game. That was Lamar.
He comes out,
and I mean, he's in the locker room getting shot up with whatever they shot him up with, saline or whatever it was. And man comes out and just takes them apart.
Was that smoke that was coming off of him and clouds that parted and stuff and key light?
I'm telling you, he, for one game or for 4 minutes of that last game, he shut everybody up saying he couldn't win the big one. He couldn't throw the ball. That one throw to Hollywood was just amazing, and Hollywood actually caught it. That's another plus. So
the biggest thing about it is in that game where his play for the most part has still been good this year, but obviously it hasn't been the same level as last year. And I think like we've talked about, like just teams have figured out his offense. There's been a lot of problems with the offensive line. And yeah, to be fair, like Hollywood Brown, none of the receivers for the most part step up. He had 3 huge drives in that game. He scored the running touchdown, make it 21-14 right before the half. The one that Luggs talked about where, think about this, he came in on the 4th and 5 because he was off the field. And Trace McSorley got sacked or behind the line of scrimmage. So he came in cold on a 4th and 5 and threw that touchdown to Hollywood Brown. And then Baker Mayfield responds. So he then slowly, without using his legs, just from the 25, moved it down the field and got Tucker in position to kick a 55-yard field goal.
And there's your MVP, Tucker, right there. Is that guy money or is that guy money? Come on. Wow.
The best kicker ever.
I mean, ridiculous. Yeah. He had plenty of room on the back of that thing.
Yeah. But it was, again, kind of going back to Luke's point, great because, again, I'll admit, I'll eat crow on this. I don't mind. It doesn't matter. I'm not getting paid as a scout. But Baker Mayfield, again, one guy we've kind of sing praise to, and obviously it's probably saved or rehabilitated Baker Mayfield's career. What Kevin Stefanski's done, if you look at how Baker played against the Titans last week, and now how he played against the Ravens, his 2 drives to give them the lead, 35-34. That one touchdown pass to Higgins, there was pressure around him. He was able to kind of sneak up into the pocket and rise up and then throw to Higgins, who was a one-on-one. And then on the next drive that gave him the lead, he had pressure around him. The play broke down. He was able to roll out to the right and run into the end zone. So it just shows you a guy who last year looked shell-shocked and just held on the ball and just got sacked. He's living in the moment, and he's actually making plays now. And I think a lot of it has to do with what Stefanski has done with that offense.
Well, and he didn't have to worry about Odell Beckham saying, "Throw me the ball."
Right.
I'm saying that Odell Beckham is not the fit for there. He needs those guys that like he's got, and they have to work their plays instead of trying for that one big splashy play to Odell.
I'm not going to completely agree with that, but I don't think – I think he's been a scapegoat on a lot of things, Odell Beckham. But I think the other big part of their offense that makes them work is Chubb and Hunt both had 100 yards from the line of scrimmage and had 2 TDs each. So it's nice.
They've got a really nice running game. Truly, that tandem works.
Yeah, Odell would do that Keyshawn Johnson line. I'm a spotlight, you're a flashlight.
Yeah.
Remember that crap?
Yeah.
But I was going to say, too, that, you look at it, there's a similarity between the Ravens and Browns where they have tandem backs